Donald Trump has signed an executive order that officially makes him a king. Watch this video.
Lastly, we have another executive order that President Trump signed relating to independent agencies. This executive order would establish important oversight functions in the Office of Management and Budget and its subsidiary office, OIRA, supervising independent agencies and many of their actions, and also reestablishes the longstanding norm that only the President or the Attorney General can speak for the United States when stating an opinion as to what the law is.
Okay, first of all, it is Congress's job to make the law. It is the judiciary's job to enforce the law. And what he is saying is, I'm taking from the Congress, I'm taking from the judiciary, and I am now the law. This cannot stand. And I'm hopeful, like there's just a spark of hope for me that the Supreme Court will not allow this to continue, that there has been some awakening on that court. The total immunity that they have handed him has made him think he is a king. I'm hopeful, a little bit optimistic, but I mean, this is jaw-dropping, even in the Trump administration.
Number one, I don't share your optimism about the Supreme Court, sadly. I feel like we're in a situation where I'm starting to question how many people are compromised. How deep is this collusion that begins in Moscow and ends in Washington? How deep is it? Because the Supreme Court, single-handedly, when they did the immunity case, it lit a fire in the Trump campaign. Mm-hmm. And Musk, the Supreme Court, and Vladimir Putin were bound and determined to get that man reelected, get him out of prison, and to slow play all of his criminal cases. So he could have been tried. The Jack Smith cases could have gone forward. The Supreme Court did that. Supreme Court slow played those. So I have zero, and I mean zero faith in the Supreme Court. Secondly, this is kind of petty. Why does Trump have a translator on every single executive order he signs when everybody in the room is trafficking in the English as their first language? It goes from the Oval Office to there. You're a big boy. Get your big boy pants on. Say what your executive order is. Say it with your own mouth. Buck stops with you, big guy. Why do you have some dipshit, weirdo, crusty white guy following you around translating everything you're doing? And that's just, it looks so weak, but that's just a personal petty grievance of mine that I can cling on to because the Supreme Court shit is so overwhelming to me.
Agree. So next we have, okay, so remind everybody.
But hang on, I want to say, Pumps, I hope that your optimism is right. I really do.
Well, here's the deal. I know that Clarence Thomas, Sam Alito, Neil Gorsuch, they're in the tank. There's no question. But I'm putting all my faith in the handmaid and Chief Justice Roberts. So, I mean, the bar is very low. I mean, but that's what we've got. So moving on to after we saw the absolute debacle. Speaking of a translator, Elon Musk did all the talking for Trump on the Fox interview. It was embarrassing for the United States. It was embarrassing for Fox News. But this is what Steve Bannon, who is the rah-rah leader of Musk, and I just want to say, I think Steve Bannon is despicable. But I have a sliver of hope that MAGA listens to Steve Bannon on his War Room podcast. And I also just want to comment for the permanent record that Steve Bannon just pleaded guilty to fraud. And now this is what he's saying about Elon Musk. Steve Bannon on Elon Musk. Musk is a parasite, illegal immigrant. He wants to impose his freak experiments and play act as God without any respect for the country's history, values, or traditions. So there you have it. Like one convicted felon supporting another convicted felon, doesn't like Trump's new boyfriend.
Elon Musk is parasitic, and there's no question about it. He's received $20 billion worth of government subsidies. The MAGA movement, when you think about this, is pro South African immigrant running the country and colluding with Russian Vladimir Putin. And to all of the MAGA people out there and the MAGA people in our lives, you have agency over how you consume news and vetting your news. And if all you do is go down this crazy ass pro-Putin propaganda, I'm certain with everything in me that all roads are leading to a Musk and Putin collusion. Steve Bannon, bizarrely, we find ourselves strange bedfellows with. But I think some of this is jealousy. But as crazy as I think Steve Bannon is, he's not a dumbass. And he's crazy dumb, but he's actually kind of bright. And he sees what Musk is doing. And that's why Musk and Trump are moving so rapidly and disorienting. And part of that flood the zone is Steve Bannon's playbook.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Bannon is the one that said, yeah, we flood the zone. We flood the zone. Steve Bannon has been replaced by somebody far more nefarious and far more dangerous than he is. And he's been replaced by Elon Musk.
Yes, and far more powerful than Steve Bannon, because I think you made such a great point when you said the Gulf of America, Canada being the 51st state, all of that is a smokescreen and a distraction to the fact that United States of America is becoming allies with Putin over our NATO allies. Like that's the big takeaway. But back to Elon Musk being parasitic. So he's been talking with zero transparency or accountability about how much money he is saving the federal government. And let me just show you what he put out yesterday. For the first time, he says, I have saved $8 billion. Well, guess what? It's $8 million. He's lying. But he is so used to everybody buying his bullshit, and the MAGA supporters just, oh yeah, Elon saving us $8 billion with zero facts. Facts are just inconsequential to MAGA. That $8 million. Here's the deal, Jennifer. I bet you and I could go in to the U.S. budget and we could cut out $8 million. I mean, pretty quick. I don't think that's a lot of money when you're talking trillions of dollars. Like that's not hard. So he is running around lying, and he's spent all this time destroying agencies for $8 million.
First and foremost, it is a myth and a bold-faced lie that they are looking for corruption and that they are looking for fat. They're not looking for that. They have come in. They are consolidating all the information. We've got somebody named Big Balls, Big Balls, running the State Department, because as we all know, Marco Rubio sure as hell isn't. And you have these crackhead kids that Elon Musk has assembled that are getting all of our information. And what they are doing is they are shutting down any government interference, oversight, fiduciary duty over Elon Musk and any of his companies. This entire DOGE is personally for Elon Musk to consolidate power for him, because he knows he has a problem with the Constitution. Right. He knows that he can't be president. So he bought the presidency. And he owns the president. And now he owns the United States government. And the fact that this isn't like top news thing. I saw Hakeem Jeffries send out a tweet, the leader of Congress, talking about the law that somebody is trying to sign in, making like President Donald Trump Day or some bullshit that nobody gives a shit about except for the flea bag MAGA cultists. And I'm like, Hakeem, no, nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. Call out Musk, call him a dick, call him a parasite. When Steve Bannon is doing a better job criticizing Elon Musk than not all Democrats, but a lot of the Democrats, we have a very large problem.
No, I completely agree. I have been really disappointed with Hakeem Jeffries, who I really respect, and Chuck Schumer for that matter. It's just been milquetoast city for our two Democratic leaders. But speaking of why does Donald Trump have an interpreter? I found this clip, and I mean, like, now I know. Okay. And the Canadians, the nicest people on planet Earth, have shown us how to troll masterfully. And so we have Justin Trudeau versus Donald Trump.
Normal computers work either there's power going through a wire or not. It's 1 or a 0. They're binary systems. What quantum states allow for is much more complex information to be encoded into a single bit. regular computer bit is either a 1 or a 0, on or off. A quantum state can be much more complex than that because, as we know, things can be both particle and wave at the same times, and the uncertainty around quantum states allows us to encode more information into a much smaller computer. So that's what's exciting about quantum computing, and that's what we're doing.
You know what uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things.
Wait,
Bugs
Canada
Bunny at the
posted that?
end. Huh?
Canada posted that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not
Oh.
the state, but some Canadians. I don't
mean,
think the country of Canada posted it, but I mean,
you know what's so alarming is, when you're in this part of the internet, in our part of the internet, you hear some stories about MAGA voters having remorse. And I think those are very few and far between. And if you get on that side of the internet and you start looking at the comment section, they are such shapeshifters morally. They just go along with whatever he does. Like,
Right.
They shift with him to whatever he's doing. And we have a major problem of half the country being total dipshits. And you can put that on the permanent record that I think half the country are complete dipshits. And here's why. They have agency over how they educate themselves, and they choose the laziest route possible. And there is a reason that Donald Trump attacks the press, specifically the Associated Press, because they are rigorous about fact checking and putting forth their best foot forward towards journalism with integrity and standards. And this is a big story that he has kicked out the Associated Press because they will fact check the shit out of him. And it's going to continue, and it's going to continue till one day we won't be sitting here doing this because he will make this type of speech illegal as well. And it's really, really dangerous.
And what country does that remind you of, Jennifer?
Russia.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, the Russian playbook, and obviously Trump is not smart enough to execute all of this, but he's in bed with people that are. So that's our happy spot for today. Stick with us.